I really read it once. I was like, I don't know much about it, other than probably know more about it than I do. That's better than I. When we get to it at the board meeting, we're gonna ask if they don't know anything, we're gonna take them. I don't know much about it, other than we're supposed to have more teams than what we have currently.
Well, I don't think maybe the board might want to fix your meeting.
I drove around here.
Yeah, he's the one that kind of initiated the whole thing. But that question too is, Tim talked about it, doesn't this have to go through the seeker?
More seeker. I don't think it has to per se, but it's.
I think whatever my name was,
If we're not gonna.
I think I sent it to you.
Well, you go ahead. I have to be, but I don't know anything about it. Yeah.
presentation, my dog had a stroke.
What do you think of it?
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
We're going to Canada after this.
Mike, we got 3 minutes. This is all.
Yeah, let's see, throw mushrooms at home, so that's.
Marco was Dan Luckman.
Dan Luckman.
And then there's TNT. He did one.
Yeah, one thing about Mark, was gonna be a lot of. Marco, TNT, there's another guy, Shotgun.
Did they? Stop Anderson.
Back here.
You guys are coming here? Oh, yeah?
He had something to wear out. He's coming back to this area. He said about 9:30.
Have you dealt with that guy? Does that, I mean, like, he takes like great pictures.
Well, I got the forms. He gave me forms too. Like, you got a lot, right? You lot number 1 and itemize everything. Don't even worry about pulling it out.
I know, he did all of it. All I did was like, on like a sheet of paper, I just wrote down like all the information for each item.
Yeah.
Candidate code, and then
There's the cookie man again.
no, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That was not for me to decide.
Little after dinner, Matt?
I can always get through the guards up front.
Yep. I'll let you right in.
He had to talk to me. Oh, that's good. Right, he wasn't come in. He was not. When he talked to me, when I asked him, I said, please come in and do the bid before the cutoff. He says, I don't want to do it for the third time. Well, actually, it was his wife in the background.
See all this that he's gonna do.
You're going to turn the back and go off. And he just says, no, Mike, I don't think I want to do it anymore. So, and he told me so
I could see him.
I hope so.
Yeah, there's no reason.
Back to
downstairs. Say, well,
yeah, there's by the right in front before the council. There's a table. Right there's more of these.
Yeah,
there's
there's
two men through the comments early with me at 6 o'clock. And they'll start going through and start taking people. Julie's gonna get this. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Last makes such good cookies. They're coming to meetings, stuff like cookies.
Oh, how we doing?
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, this civic class. I didn't bring one up. But then the one, I just wanted to watch because I just. I know we're all.
It's a bargoon.
Julie's peanut butter chip. Well, all right, what's your favorite?
I don't know, replace the problem with the water department. Some of the towns were rejecting it, and they said, yeah, they didn't want to get involved. Because some of these towns were like, didn't want to accept the tax from it. I was like, what the fuck you want to take the tax? 10 years when it's just widespread acceptance. Why would you care?
They just trump us. That's the point.
Actually, I thought,
With these over.
what I did was,
Nicholas drove so hard, they can go in even if you don't have a lawn. They can get it. I don't understand.
correct. They sold me a sticker.
We brought that on trade.
Trading the sticker.
Dude.
Better.
That won't show on your.
He did. I don't know if you heard that or not.
I didn't know that.
No, in January.
Oh, okay.
Believe it or not, it's been already a couple of months. We had, spent the last month of his life, December, all of December, we were in Rochester. So back and forth between coming here and going there. Strong. They were wonderful. They were wonderful, but I kind of got them there. Already extra bonus, they couldn't do anything for him there. Roswell kicked us out basically end of October. And then we're trying to get some medication for him. It took the insurance crap. It was another 3 weeks. The medication. That got us pretty Thanksgiving. He was no treatments for almost 6 weeks.
I already heard that. I didn't know. Oh, no, that's right.
I'm sorry. Yeah, because, I don't know how, who would get the word out and that. Quite a bit. But then, the end of it, hopefully it's a better place. It's really, try, I mean, he's 36 years old. It's still hard to believe. And I've been, today I was at the DMV. Trying to get the title for his truck, and we got the contract on his house, and we're doing work at the home. And it's like, what, 6 months ago, 7 months ago, he was that. We went from one, right to backache to something like that.
How would you ever get to the back of it?
It was shocking.
Right.
Did they have the book?
Chris coming tonight?
No. He'll come only when I don't.
Well, must be right here, huh?
Like, right there, I sit there next to him.
That's not even what it has to do with the culture.
Oh, okay.
Construction prevention.
What does?
I called him up for the flood report the other day.
Yep.
Sitting up there.
You got it.
Our meeting with them.
We got it.
Doing the market.
Because we had no fucking, we had a hole in the radiator. We
Valves up on it.
couldn't get it to pull a draft. So they're coming out tomorrow
Texas
morning.
said that they were gonna replace some detectors.
The number one is gonna be free, day two is gonna be free.
Well, we can go by hours, not go by days.
Oh, he knows the fire stuff too, so he was a volunteer for a while there, he knows his hometown.
But he's gonna run it 2 days straight, it's 48 hours.
Yeah.
I said, here, you know,
That's why I like to, I mean, sometimes take them
all that, yeah, he was conscious, yeah.
When I talked to Steve, David, Ron, I talked to him, you know,
Yeah, probably not, probably not.
well, the guy, Steve guy, David is like the garage guy.
Yeah. How could be allowed?
Yeah, they went up, got it.
They shouldn't be allowed to live there until they come up to compliance or something, because
You can see right where the radiator is.
if it burns down and then people die and the firemen gotta go and drag the bodies out, it doesn't just affect the families,
No,
the people that die.
everybody that's involved, no doubt.
And then who's getting sued?
Out of the
yeah,
gate.
so I would say Sergeant Pat, he's the one that.
Certain buildings require annual inspections.
Right.
Some have inspections, but if they don't have multiple units, like if they're not over 3 units, they don't fall under the commercial code, they fall under the residential code. So a 3 unit falls back into where it's self-monitoring. So we would take.
I gotta go out, I'm going to a class.
Called in because it's a fire issue, that's the whole thing about it. When you're the.
Peter. It was, he was like.
Do we have any public hearing? Can you guys hear me out there?
No.
Very well. How's that, better or not?
Yeah.
We have a public hearing tonight, and Matt, if you would read the public hearing notice, please. Kathy, do you have it?
I do. Public hearing on proposal local law 1-2023 amendments to chapter 69, building construction and fire prevention for March 20th, 2023 at 6:45 p.m. at Repeal Town Hall. Anyone interested may attend and be heard.
Explain it brief what the public hearing is about.
Yes, this was a local law modification requested by the building department regarding enforcement of the fire prevention and building code, which are state codes in the town. This statute is designed to give the building department more teeth to enforce certain sections of the fire code and building code of the state. In order to take it into our town justice courts, certain charges on certain types of offenses, rather than just making them a civil offense, wherein we would have to civilly just take them to court civilly, a small claims type of situation. This puts certain statutes, makes them statutes that are prosecutable by the building department, the town prosecutor, sets penalties, fines, and potential jail sentences, and turns the state building code and fire code into prosecutable offenses in our town court. So it was requested by the building department to do so. I know it was mostly the changes were suggested by Chris Jordan, who's not here this evening, based on his experience of having a similar statute out in the town of Wilson. I've reviewed it, made changes, and I think it would be an effective way to help our town court have jurisdiction in a prosecutable form of additional building and fire code violations in the town.
Anybody would like to make a comment? Yes, sir.
Good evening, everybody. Mark Kasperzak. I oversee the town fire board. We meet monthly. We discussed this matter at our meeting 2 weeks ago on the 7th, and at the request of the fire board, I'm here tonight to give our support, the fire board support to this law. More and more, we're seeing, we need enforcement, especially with businesses in the town. People are getting more exotic in some of the businesses that bring into town, some of their business practices. We had a discussion last week of potentially a store in this town that built a beer cooler and blocked the secondary entrance. The fire garage into that building, and they're looking into that.
And the problem is, the beer cooler.
All right, and the exit signs are still there. We have amusements being set up in the old mall. Everyone's getting more exotic. But we want to make sure that, number one, they're following the building and fire codes for the protection of the public, especially these mass gatherings, all right? And we need teeth into that if they're not, to be able to stop it. And this puts teeth not only into enforcing the code, but my review of it also puts teeth into disobeying stop orders and things like that. So again, the fire board is in favor of this. We encourage you to adopt it tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike, do you have any comments?
Real quick, as Matt said, it's in addition to, some of the charges and some of the laws that we have under the town of Wheatfield. It expands into the building codes. A lot of our stuff is, property maintenance and some of the things that we list in ours. But this, again, takes a little bit deeper, and then it has, I guess the word, has more teeth to it. So it's no longer just those civil penalties, that these are now criminalized. And we can get maybe a little bit more activity, through the courts.
Did you have any comments at all? Anybody else have comments about the public hearing?
I have a question for Mike. Mike,
How many times a year, is it once a year we do a fire inspections on businesses, or is it every year for sure, or is it every other year?
Well, it depends on the occupancy type. So certain occupancies require an annual inspection, others extend out to 3 years, and some of the standard businesses don't require anything after their original fire service inspection, for fire safety. So again, occupancy, like for instance, assemblies, like restaurants seem to over 50 seating patrons, they require an annual. Some of the housing, they can go up to 3 years without, make apartment complex, they can go every 3 years.
Thank you.
Anybody would like to make a motion to close the public hearing, unless there are any comments?
I'll make a motion to close.
Okay. We have a motion to a second, to close the public hearing, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. The public hearing is closed. We have another motion Kathy, I'm glad you made it tonight. You're going to be 2 meetings in a row.
I know.
Something goes to work on this one.
That's the first 20 years.
Richie, come on down. Kathy, come on down with your Where's Kathy? Get down here, young lady. Come on. Your husband.
Spend enough time.
You know, I know Richie wanted to call it watch, but we thought this is something Kathy understood.
This is what she wants, that's what she gets.
Whereas Richard Donner has served the people of Wheatfield as a town employee for 34 years and as water sewer superintendent for the past 14 years. And how many whereas do we have here? Whereas Richard Donner is a valued and dedicated firefighter in the town of Wheatfield for Johnsburg Fire Company. And whereas Richard Donner has shown dedication and commitment to the town and its residents throughout his career. And whereas Richard Donner has worked tirelessly with the residents of the town of Wheatfield, and therefore, on behalf of the town of Wheatfield Town Board, I hereby offer, this is John's signature, our heartfelt thanks and his exemplary service to the town of Wheatfield and its citizens, and gratitude, Richard Donner and his retirement. Congratulations.
I think you were a teacher.
Congratulations, Richard says, Richard Donner, 34 years of dedication and commitment to the town of Wheatfield. There's no whereas, by the way. March 25th, 2020.
Thank you, sir.
It's not gonna fit out the rest of it.
It's not. Maybe I'll get one of them necklaces.
You can carry it around with
Thank you,
you.
Rich, you will truly be missed. I've enjoyed working with you, of course, I see Kathy every day. You've been a joy to work with, and you've been a hell of a job as a department head in the town of Wheatfield. And I'm hoping that Mark will be able to fill your shoes, because you've done a hell of a job, and I'm gonna miss you. What else want to say to you, Rich?
I ain't going nowhere.
Hey, he said, I'm gonna be
I'm
around.
not running away.
For $10 an hour, too.
Hey.
Anybody, come on, have some cake, folks. Please. Oh, yeah, right.
Here, I'll cut it. Start right out. There you go.
Thank you.
Now you can.
Todd, come on, have a little.
Now you can.
Come on, Mike.
All right.
Kelly, come on. All right, have a piece of cake.
You still got time, Paul.
Well, guess what, cake is bigger, cake is bigger.
I may defer to retire. Let's hope they carry it for a while.
I'll find out.
They're feeling afraid for you. That's got it. That's got it. This is the cooking block, yeah.
Here, but he already does that.
In the middle of the night.
I'm good right now, Dan, thank you.
Yeah, 15 years.
I'm trying. Season's not quite right yet. What is the property?
The retirement was 18. 16.
Thank you.
I got you. Get a big next piece.
There you go.
40? That's not so I can entertain the idea. I do the walk, I do the first time, which one's going to be better for me, but I might.
She's driving. Had to wait for her to go.
So you're thinking of taking until another Friday?
Well, Friday is.
We have a hike going out Friday night.
Kill it.
Trying to get a hold of this.
I was going to say, I laughed about that. I think it would be closer to 50. Because I'm still way out.
I'm good.
Watch yourself.
See, I told you, we used to walk it down here. I don't know everything.
How we doing? Good, real good.
Good night. Cookies, got cake.
I know, this is bad.
I know. It's supposed to be at the Y where now. I saw it. I watched it.
Why, what did they do?
Yeah.
What were they talking about?
All right, buddy, it's too good.
They did.
Really good. It was really hard to laugh.
I've never met where I had tickets before in my life. I wish I had a little on that.
Hey, Dad, how's your brother?
I'm sorry?
Is that brand new, Paul?
Not brand new. Doctors today.
What?
You run for a week.
48 hours.
48 hours. It goes on.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to drive.
We just run it for 48 hours.
How much did it go up after that? I didn't look, I'm sure.
Key West and then Cousin. Looks like they're going to another one in Kansas. 7 days.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're going on,
All right.
To go into work? To be on the payroll?
we're done in February.
Yeah, it's like,
Oh, let me know when you got time. You like the cruise?
Yeah, I did.
Good day.
I signed up for
We're
another.
gonna,
I'll buy it.
We're gonna go tear shit up. We're just gonna, yeah.
No know he loved it.
It's gotta be a one-time.
Very enjoyable.
Tied into that, like that $10 pond. Excellent, dude. We're just gonna take it. Would you tie in like, you wanna cross the path there?
I think I got my money's worth.
It was what their Friday.
The maximum beer that
It was hopeless normally. That was that kind of water. So if I do that, or I know that's just a number of the boards make it residents.
Once we figured it out, mixed drinks is probably $14 a case. He likes the mixed drinks. I mean, I made a couple of them. I had bottles of
How's it been, Joe? Is that anything? You wait for budget. Come out, we got the POs put in for the new trailer.
different stuff, everybody do it. Couple of those. There were some good ones. We were kind of low, but we had behavior whatever to prove the thing, but I never got
Different brand. That's the one that, wings
He's
up
my,
and
he's my limit up and I go more.
I like it.
Yeah, from my crew. I tried drinking it.
All rise and pledge allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we pray you to grant wisdom to all who are in authority, that order and justice may be upheld for the benefit of all citizens, and guide us to better serve the people of our community. Restrain those who seek to destroy our government. We ask your divine wisdom to rest upon our leaders to guide them and protect them. Amen.
For the record, all board members are present. Public input tonight. Approval of the minutes, March 6, 2023.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved. Thank you. Approval of bill payment of March 20th, 2023, voucher number 202-30326 through 202-30411, $394,556.63. May I have a motion, please? Have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Bills are paid. Highway Department, Paul Seaman, Department heads.
Not much tonight, just to let you know, they did start on the fuel system. The tank didn't leak, but some of the lines going from the pump to the tank did leak. So there is a little bit of contamination that they have to clean up before they can start backfilling and all that. But they did that, they finished that today, and tomorrow we're gonna be backfilling the hole and they'll be pouring concrete pad before you know it. So we're moving along on it. That's about all I got.
Thank you, Paul.
Paul, I got a question for you. I got approached by somebody on Lockwell Road. Can we ask the county to put a sign up that says no jake brakes, by Indicon Park there? They said at 3 or 4 in the morning when they got their jake brakes on, it's kind of annoying. Can we request that from the county?
We can, but I thought there was one up there already.
I didn't see one.
Oh, there's one down farther by Ward Road, I think.
Ward Road. Is there a chance that you could ask him if we could, he was very nice about it,
Yeah,
but he said, you know, it's kind of annoying.
yeah, that's
2
no
or 3 in the
problem.
morning when they come slapping in like that.
I didn't think there was any truck that came in that late there, but,
Well, according to that guy, unless you want to call him and talk to him about it, but
I can ask the county.
ask the county.
Yep.
Thank you.
Paul, how are we making out with that pump, just out of curiosity?
With the what?
The pump?
Oh, I'm sorry. We did get the pump today. The temporary pump, or, you know, the one we're trying out. Got it all hooked up, couldn't pull a draft, and we found out the radiator hose is leaking, so they're coming out tomorrow. Try to get it all set up for us. Looks nice. I don't know how it's gonna work, but it looks nice.
Is it parked over there by the road runners, or?
Yes. It's parked there, all the hoses are hooked up to it. It's all ready to go. We were hoping to be pumping this afternoon.
Well, it'll be how it makes sense. We can,
Yep.
we can report to the residents on that. Appreciate it. Water sewer bridge down or Mark Clark, combination of?
Good, how are you? Good evening, guys. I have nothing to report from the Water and Sewer Department, but I would like to add to what you guys did for Richie this morning, or this afternoon. I would like to tell Rich, congratulations again on your retirement, sir. Thank you for being a great boss to all of us and a great friend to me. Your knowledge and wisdom will be missed. I'm very grateful to have worked with you through the years, and would like to thank you for making me the next superintendent. It means a lot to me, and I hope to be the same kind of mentor to others as you are to me. Thanks again, kind sir, and enjoy your retirement.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And it's nice that Richie's gonna stay on and help whenever needed, which is nice.
That is nice.
And with the $10 an hour, you
We went up and down.
I can't let him go.
Don't pay him. He'll be fine. Don't pay him. Get some out of my hair.
Rich, you know I'm never gonna stop. Thank you, Mark, that was very nice, nice job. Mike Rowley, Recreation Department.
Good evening. Same few things I've been covering the last few board meetings. Baseball, softball registration deadline is this Friday at 4:30 p.m. It's kind of a soft deadline. If you come in afterwards, we'll take you, but you will get hit with a late fee. So please get in ASAP on that. Summer camp registrations will open Monday morning, 6 a.m. Our link on the website will go live. We will take the first 50. The next 20 will get put on a waiting list. And then we will try to accommodate as many people as we can from there. And then the last thing, Easter party Saturday, April 1st, 10 a.m. at the East Center. That's all.
Anybody have anything for Mike? Mike, how's it for you on the sale of that SUV? You get rid of that, or?
He is, Bob Anderson from Auctions International is coming out next Wednesday. He's going to the water department for something they got, and he's coming over to Mike.
Anything else we had to auction off, fellas? Or we're good, Jay?
What about the building department? Didn't you guys take that old, well, you already got that taken care of?
You're stealing my thunder.
Oh, sorry. I just figured while he was out here, he might have to take his rounds.
And the way Mark's spending money, it's all over.
We need it.
Thank you, Mike.
Yep.
Okay, Mike Locke.
Sorry, Mike.
So now it's my turn. And to answer the question about our car, Auctions International closed the sale Friday afternoon for the 2012 Escape. And we'll need board approval. Matt will need a motion for that to approve the sale for $4,200.
Make a motion to accept the bid for $4,200 for the
2012 Ford Escape.
2012 Ford Escape, which is a surplus vehicle. I'll make a motion. And then second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Do we have a dollar amount for motion?
4,200.
Thank you.
And I don't know if you guys saw it or had a chance to see the new ride out there. She's all decked out with our logo on there. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, we're cruising in style. Let's see, also, during the past week, we did meet with the contractors that were the bid winners for our window installation for the town. Did a kind of a post-bid walkthrough with them. Was really happy with that meeting. There's a follow-up, before we actually sign contracts, that we're coming back through one more time and taking exact measurements prior to the actual ordering of them, so we'll have that. I know a couple of members have asked me the question too, is, is this included, that included? The conversation with the contractor was, we want it to look like you haven't been here, so that whether it's repairs to the ceiling grids, to the panels themselves, touch-up drywall, paintwork, etc. Anything that might happen on the outside too. There was a conversation about they're gonna use a lift to get to the windows for the upper levels. You know, damage to the yard is their responsibility. But the equipment that looks like we're gonna be using has an extension that'll be able to lift or move to the buildings without actually having to be on the yard. So depending on the time of year, when they actually get here, if it's dry enough to drive on it, or if not, you know, the planning is to make sure we can work within those parameters and any damage will be repaired. So lawn, drywall, paint, et cetera, is all part of that. And I think if we looked at the original quote, there were some options in there which included doorways and things. That's not part of it unless the board wants to move forward on adding an extra to it.
Well, you know, Mike, I think we looked at this, I just personally don't think that the heat loss of the doors, for the amount of cost and the return on it, is worth it at this time. And as you know, we're using the ARPA funds to cover the cost of windows, so, I mean, if we can save that little bit, or not little bit, but a lot of money,
Yeah.
the door windows, et cetera. And what I'd like from you is a recommendation. Do you want to meet with them one more time?
Yeah, one more time, because we actually wanted to get some final sizes, talk about, we want to get into scheduling too, because it was like, how quickly can some of these windows appear on site, you know, and we talked about how we're gonna phase this, because it can't be something that we just come in and close the town hall, we're not gonna do that.
But if we could get maybe a schedule of the work,
Exactly.
I know whether there's an error around here, but if we could do that, get a recommendation from you sooner than later, because as you know, ARPA funds, we have to dedicate those funds first.
Yep.
And then once that money is transferred, let the town board, and that's a resolution, the school board will bid. So the next thing for you would be a recommendation to accept the bid as submitted. If you're satisfied, I think the other fellows would be the same. And then we'll go forward and we'll contact our budget director and have the funds, placed in an account for the donors.
Sounds good, I can get that for you.
So they given you any kind of a timeline once we accept it?
Well, you know, it depends on, again, the windows, because we have a couple of fixed panels, like especially in this area are all fixed, they're easy to get. The areas in our office areas that have the sliding windows, because of the sizes of them, their lead time is a little bit farther out. So we could be as early as 3 to 4 weeks as far as from the time you order to get the first round of plans. But then we're gonna have to get into a schedule with not only with the manufacturer part of it, but the installer too. Installers, you know, as a separate entity, so they keep buying the glass from American, so we've got to coordinate those two together, install versus the delivery of materials.
You know, for folks that don't know here, why we're replacing the glass area is because this town hall is made up of 8-inch plate, non-insulated glass. And our heat bills in this town hall have been outrageous for many, many years. And we've just updated our heating systems and our air conditioning system. We have such a heat loss here, sometimes we have to take care of your own, so that's what we're doing.
Most definitely. Yeah, we got a building, you know, 1974, and she's in great shape. We just got to do a little cosmetics, and some of this here is going to help us with our mechanical systems, not working as hard, brings our fuel system or our cost down. So, and we can still work in it. It's got good homes.
Anything else, Michael?
Also, you know, John, you and I met with, to look at this, the conversation about putting bids together for the storage building that will be here. I've got the specs all worked out, so we can go now post this and ask for bids on that.
Why don't we do that now? And we, set a date for the opening as well. I guess we have to post it on our website, correct? To advertise for bids, for a storage facility to comply with the specifications as drawn up by the town of Wheatfield. And bids to be opened, both when they're going to be received and they'll be available here at the town hall.
Yes, right to the building department.
And, what's the second thing? How much do we need?
Well, you're gonna need probably, we're gonna post it, we're gonna need a couple of weeks to get to, most of the conversations, I'm gonna reach out to some of the builders to let them know it's there, so we're not waiting on them. And just hope we can get them in posted within 2 weeks, and then if you wanna open bids, the second meeting of April.
Yeah, why don't we do that? So I'm looking at the second meeting in April, I believe, is the 17th.
So in the motion, we should have that the bid
by maybe 3 P.M. on the 17th of April, and we open at, say, 7 o'clock. So that'll give them, essentially, there'll be a lot of time, maybe the 20th, basically it's over 3 weeks. Is that okay with you?
That's fine for us. I think I can get those a little bit easier than, the big window quote.
Yeah. And if we could, do this, the bid openings would be on the 17th, at 7 o'clock, but to be at the town hall, no later than, what's a good time? Yeah.
3.
3 o'clock.
And it would be at the town clerk's office.
Right. Have you withdraw that up?
Yep.
Whenever you have a sheet, all set, you just send it my way.
Yeah, in fact, I'll send it to group, so you can see this now. They cover windows, the car. Yeah, I do, yeah, yeah.
No, I still need a second.
Yeah, okay, we have a motion, I made a motion, and a second. And all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Would you record a copy of that rendering?
Yes.
This is right.
Yep.
I'm sorry, go ahead. No problem.
So down at our next meeting, we're gonna allocate the money for the windows, and then later in that meeting, we're gonna go out to bid, we're gonna get it out to bid. Okay.
Perfect. I think they covered it. Windows,
Anything else?
not that I can think of.
You were talking about the panels on the back of the door there.
I'm sorry.
The panels for the back door.
Oh, yeah, that's true too. We're looking for ADA accessibility for our main entrance. We did get a bid in from Twin City Glass that will give us, the ballast, or the pedestal out there, plus wireless pads. So they'll put an opener on the door, just like any other, like a hospital or some of the other doctor's offices or whatever. Entrances in with a hands-free situation, so we can set the pads and open them up.
One of the questions.
Trying to make us, I'm sorry, we're talking about the parking lot redo. We want to make sure that we coordinate that into as far as the ramping and the entrance. And we're sure that our, the balancer.
Is that something we should hold off on?
No, in fact, because that post is self-removable. So we can get that installed right now, and so are the locations of the pads.
Okay, that was total cost of that.
Around $3,700, and I'll get you that bid. You're probably gonna need the exact amount.
No, you don't need to bid to.
Oh, that's true too, because we can sign it under.
I'd like to see that. And the fact that they can be moved, or the parking lots put in, I think that's a way to. Somebody like to make a motion?
I'll second.
We motion to the second to install the, what do we want to call them?
Okay, we got wireless door openers,
Accessible door.
ADA compliance openings.
Door openings. And then if you would maybe Kathy will make it sound so I don't sound so stupid.
As soon as I figure out that, myself here, so.
Spent a lot of money for that, like that.
Oh, well, shit. I hope I'm done, because
Is that all you have, Mike?
I think so.
I got something for Mike.
Oh, yeah.
I sent Mike an email, last night, I think, supervisor's office, the supervisors in Niagara County have actually responded to, the governor's request to, basically override the authority of local zoning laws. And, the town of Wheatfield's not prepared to do a motion tonight, but if you could work with Matt Brooks, how bad is this proposal?
Well, from that letter that you forwarded me, this could take, where we have all our restrictions in place when it comes to zoning types, residential uses in certain zonings, commercials, et cetera. This could take it where they allow, whether it's smaller homes, different structures, and put them in areas that we normally would restrict them. This basically lets us, it's almost free rein to put them wherever. That they're going to probably look at the local law and say, well, they might give us a quota, that we have to do so many houses in this new parameter, and I'm not sure how that's going to look, but it does give them the right to just come in and, like a blanket statement, say, where local law doesn't hold up.
I mentioned this to Larry earlier, if you want to do a resolution,
I'll
wait till Mike and Matt can.
We have-
Put some verbiage together.
Sounds worthy and,
Mike,
I know we wanna bash the governor's. I think we wanna bash it.
Yeah, and I think that would, take some time to write something up that really,
Just so you know, the supervisors of Niagara County have already put a letter together against this proposal. And somehow HUD money ties into this. And if the municipality starts accepting HUD money to exempt control, you go after your zoning. So, I was called and asked if we had accepted any HUD money, and I said absolutely not. So, if you're offered HUD money, say no.
I'll make sure. I think that's it. That should be it now.
All set, thanks for handling that.
Okay, thank you.
Kelly? I must be bored now, I see you have your hat on.
I really have nothing to report. Our office is just busy, getting the inventory from all the building permits this past year, putting values on anything that needs to be valued from. Exemptions are done for this year, and then I have to turn in the tax roll by April 10th.
You waiting for that? Thank you. Constables.
No report on it.
Hey, Bob, one of the things, if you don't mind me talking about in the hallway, is that, and Bob has already told me that they have a responsibility to maintain the defibrillators in the town hall. And you're already doing that, correct?
Yes.
Okay, we can talk to Dan just to make sure that, Mike, do you have a defibrillator here?
Yeah.
Can you make sure that they're all kept up to date?
Yes.
One, because if somebody needed it, that it didn't function or wasn't up to date, we got an issue. If you would do that, I appreciate it.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Bob, just one thing. I guess we really don't know all the buildings that have them across the town hall, or across the town buildings, I should say. So if you could maybe do an inventory of everything that we have and put together some sort of a tracking sheet, I think that would be what we need.
Will do.
Thank you.
I'm coming up to the podium because I'm going to be here for a few minutes. I'll talk fast though. Our first item on our agenda for you is our planning board report, and this covers it covers 4 different meetings just because of the way our town board meeting schedule fell over the last month, but there weren't a lot of items at each meeting, so I'll get right into the first one, which is February 1st. There was one item, the site plan for MR Development Custom Shop Building. The applicant proposes to construct 2 10,000 square foot custom shop buildings at 6845 Shawnee Road. The front part of the 31-acre lot is zoned commercial, and the remainder of the lot is rural residential. The building is proposed in the commercial zoned area and will include parking and access from Shawnee. Several items and issues were discussed, including comments received from the fire advisory board. Proposed plans indicate a significant amount of fill, around 6 feet, would be required to make the site work for their plans. The planning board requested that the applicant review other alternatives that would not require such substantial fill. The planning board chair also requested a meeting between the developer's engineer, and Will to discuss options. No other action was taken. The next meeting was on February 15th. First item on that agenda was a public hearing, special use permit and site plan for auto repair shop at 2121 Lockport Road. The applicant proposes to utilize approximately 2,400 square foot of the 4,000 square foot front building at 2121 Lockport Road as an automotive repair shop. The site is zoned industrial and falls within the airport zone 1 overlay. Auto repair is allowed in the M2 zone with a special use permit. The 2 existing buildings are currently utilized for multiple commercial uses. A public hearing was held, and the planning board continued discussions on material storage and the general beautification of the site. Planning board subsequently issued negative declaration under seeker, approved the special use permit with conditions, and approved the site plan with those conditions. The other 2 items that were on the agenda did show up, so their topics were not discussed. The next meeting was on March 1st, and there was one item on that, a sketch plan for air-supported structures. I think you've heard me talk about this, I think, several times over the past 4 years, but the applicant now proposes to construct 2 air-supported structures on the east side of the Summit Mall. Each structure would be about 500 feet long by 260 feet wide and would have a height of 85 feet. The structures would house sports fields for various sporting venues. The applicant presented information on the proposed structures, which would be air-supported cable structures. The planning board discussed several general items, including restrooms, parking, and structure height. The planning board also notified the applicant that due to the time that has elapsed since this project was last presented, and due to the changes to the structural material and configuration, the project would need to start basically from the beginning of the site plan approval process. No action was required or taken, but the planning board and the applicant agreed to schedule a public information meeting at their April 5th, 2023 meeting at 6 p.m. That was the only item on that agenda, and the next and last meeting for this evening is the March 15th meeting. The first item is a sketch plan for a retail tobacco shop. The applicant proposes to renovate a portion of the existing building at 2708 Niagara Falls Boulevard into a tobacco shop. That's right near the corner of Oppenheim Park and Whitmer across the street. It's on the Whitmer side. It's the van accessible place in the plaza. I forget what's the other. That's the plaza. So it's a portion of that existing building. This business would sell tobacco and smoking accessories. There would be no THC products. The site is zoned commercial and falls within the Niagara Falls Boulevard Overlay District. The planning board discussed several items, including signage and how parking would be provided for all the businesses currently operating at the location. The applicant was also notified that if any cannabis sales were considered at this location in the future, they would need to comply with the requirements of the new law that the town is currently working on. No action was required or taken. The next 2 items were the 2 that didn't show up to the previous meeting, so.
Can I ask a question? On
Yes.
the smoke shop, does that require a special use permit?
I do not believe it does. No. Because
Well,
it's
cannabis, what if they still want a cannabis, then it'll be a special use.
Yes, they would have to comply with
Because it's not.
whatever our cannabis law ends up to be. So we kind of put them on notice if they ever thought to do that there. They would have to comply with that, and it may not even be allowed at that location based on the law. It didn't sound like their project intent was to set up there to then open cannabis. This gentleman has several other shops in the area, right?
Yeah, a couple in the falls.
So, but yeah, it's not related to cannabis. So the 2 sketch plans, the first one was a Shawnee storage building. This applicant proposed to construct a 60-foot by 56-foot storage building to support their existing business at 6656 Shawnee Road. That's the old base site that's set way back off the road, near and opposite side of the road, so there. The proposed structure would be 30 feet plus or minus tall and would require a height variance from the ZBA. The max height for accessory structures is 20 feet. The planning board discussed several items, including variance and general site plan requirements. The planning board actually tabled the project pending resolutions and questions with the town building department. The last item was a sketch plan for a mixed-use building. The applicant proposes to construct a 50 by 80 foot metal pole barn with a potential 20-foot future addition at 3386 Niagara Falls Boulevard. The building would provide a small office and storage for the existing food truck business at the site. Site zone commercial and falls within the Niagara Falls Boulevard Overlay District. Planning board discussed several items, including again parking, signage, utilities, and other site improvements to include on their formal site plan. No action was required or taken. So that is our planning board summary for the past couple months. Any questions on that? I have 2 other quick items for you. One of them is in our packet, and that is a proposal to help finish up and complete a cannabis use law for the town. Last week we did give you a kind of draft of a portion of that our planning department had been working on with other municipalities. It was something we could share with everybody. But that was just kind of a general touch on the dispensary. So this would include elaborating on that and working with the town to figure out how and where you want to involve the consumption part of that law. And The last item that I have for you was the last minute added motion. We just wanted to get a motion in there for the board to authorize us, Wendell, to proceed with going to bid for the parking lot project as soon as our plans are done. We may want to go out to bid for that at the beginning of April, but we might want to advertise it a little bit before that.
One question, Randy, are you with us?
I haven't, but I'll take a assessment of that tomorrow.
Yeah, we did, based on Randy's last comments, we actually revised the grading, and we're not gonna have any steps at all along the whole front. Everything's gonna be flush with
Concrete
it.
pad for the,
We have a concrete pad also in the dumpster enclosure, and one thing Randy and I discussed is we're gonna need to convince Waste Management to maybe put the dumpster back in a little bit further so that tires actually land on our new concrete pad instead of on the edge of the asphalt.
I think we're not gonna take any action on the cannabis law. We talked about it earlier, we haven't had a chance to really look it over, I apologize for that.
Well, our proposal is to continue to work, that was just kind of a rough draft of the first portion of that. There's a lot of things that the town needs to look at.
We're gonna take another look at it, we give a chance to the board, and then maybe we'll have you invited so we can talk about it. Cannabis law.
Okay.
Yeah, so we really haven't, we wanna look at all of this.
Well, the proposal that we have for you tonight is to elaborate on that. That's just a little piece. So, and it would all be done together, so it wouldn't be a separate thing. We would just kind of give you a heads up intro to look at what we're looking at. And again, the big thing with that is there's a lawsuit in Western New York that's holding up any of these facilities. And we just want to be proactive and get a move on ours and hopefully get it approved, or at least ready to be approved, so that when that lawsuit is resolved and the floodgates open, we're prepared.
Now, as far as the parking lot, so, based on Randy's recommendation, we're ready to put that out to bid?
Should be ready at the beginning of April to go out to bid. We've got a little schedule worked out
Is
for
that
that.
something you want to do tonight, Randy, or you want to?
I would like to.
So-
This is just to approve them to get it out to bid.
Yeah, it's just authorizing us to go to bid. We would, bid opening would probably be at the May 1st meeting, assuming you guys like to open bids at the meeting, right? So we would probably work into our documents to have the bid opening at that meeting, then we could award it at the second meeting in May. And then,
What is it now? Do it right now, it's not a dollar amount.
well, we didn't actually include a dollar amount, it's just to go to bid, but I gave Matt a draft motion for that. Our estimate is around 562.
Well, yeah, his engineer's estimate was $560,000. Paul, I asked about you doing the top, but we don't wanna have those people, because then there's gonna be standing water, you're gonna say the binder was wrong, they're gonna say you topped it wrong, so we're just gonna let them do it. But asphalt prices have come down in the last year, so, and that's 50% for contingency.
Yeah, that has a 50% contingency.
So,
The other thing, Randy, we have to make sure that, we have to pay for this, through a bond rather than ARPA funds, but I think we have to, because of the total cost. We have to make sure that we're prepared to cover the cost. So, I'll tell you what I'll do, I will talk to our budget director tomorrow, to about a can one. We have an estimated cost yet, approximately.
It's around 560. That's what we're thinking. Hopefully, we're conservatively high.
Now, this is just the back parking lot?
Parking lot and all the steps. and-
Drainage too, Randy?
Yeah, of course.
all the
Yeah.
concrete, everything's gonna be ADA, comply with ADA requirements. Asphalt, stone, concrete to the dumpster pad, bollards as needed, which is quite a few.
Yeah, once we bring everything up flush with the curb, then you kind of want to get at least one bollard at every parking spot, so you don't have.
I know it sounds like a lot of money, but every time I come to this lot after it rains, water sits there, if somebody slips on the ice and falls, it's paid for itself.
Well, I think we'll have some, you saw in our last drawings, we've got some good, by taking advantage of coming up at the front and not having a step reveal, it helps us to get some good pitch away from the building, and we just reconfigure our low spots for catch basins. I think it'll.
The only question you had for me was parking bumpers versus bollards. I haven't seen your plan, so what did you propose?
We put the bollards on there for now, so I mean, I think it added 12 more bollards than what we had before. We had 10 as a board. Again, That's the town option, I don't know who maintains the lot back here.
Mr. Renali, and when he plows it and hits it with his plows, it'll be pitched.
What do you like, bollards or parking bumpers?
I would go with the bollards.
That's where it is.
Good.
Yeah, it's like what it was going on, our budget ready to go with Matt, and just to see if we do have to, bond the project, when it's not going to be decided on, just to make sure. I think we could probably wait another meeting before we put up the bids, is that okay?
Well, the advantage of getting it out to bid is we don't know how much we really need. You've got an estimate, but that estimate might be
Right.
400, you're 560, it might be coming in 480.
So the reason for an authorization now would be if we wanted to go out to bid, say on, April 5th, we would have to make sure that our notifications are all into the paper, so that they're already into the paper by the time April 5th comes. So it would just throw us off a couple of
April
weeks.
5th is not bid opening.
No, but we have to have the notifications into the paper to actually go to bid. The other thing that I was just looking through some old minutes as well, is there's a Veterans Festival, right, scheduled for the 1st of July. Come on, so you might want to work into the documents to not start that until after the first week of July, so we can not interfere with
Yeah,
every
so that's what the festival, Tom had quite showing last year. I would like to see it done after that.
We certainly would not want to have the parking lot and everything else on up for that.
So we're gonna probably have to change the class, start entering this item is the town hall, so it's not anyway, so. Yeah, if we do that after the, July festival, we'll probably do those. So just
Yeah, we wouldn't go out until you go, ready to go out, but.
I just didn't want to see if the bids come in, and we put a warning.
Yeah, no, we actually are gonna make sure that we have Matt review the front end of our bid documents and our specs and probably bid it through the Avalon website.
He said, all the plans, that I had our time to, real quick question with the front of the lot, to get the rate so high, how would the transition work to the lot over by the community center and go back at the center? Would it be
Well,
flat or back to grade?
we have to meet the existing grade at the end of that sidewalk here, and we have to meet the existing grade where the sidewalk goes to the building department door.
So it'll come back to where it is.
So figure it's gonna slope down from the raised center where the front doors are, but it's also gonna slope away across the parking lot, so it's kind of like a clean area with that high spot being right at the front door, which is great, that's where you want to get everything away from. So, and it's gonna, and it'll match the existing where the, monument is at that edge of the pavement. We're gonna have a little cutback on the trail over by the dumpsters, because we're gonna slope back up like that. Thank you.
Dave Godfrey.
Just like to give a very brief update on the news that came out just last week for Lockport Hospital. Speaking in part from the county perspective and also a 20-year member of the board of the hospital. It's unfortunate this is happening. It's been a 3+ year struggle uphill since they filed Chapter 11. Simply the state has stopped funding to allow that hospital to move forward. We met with Mayor Roman this afternoon, concerned obviously about ambulance response, where to take them, length of travel, and so on. The county is working with everybody, the mayor, and obviously Barclays people, our EMO, Jonathan Schultz. A lot of ideas that come out. It's just the beginning of the process where I want you to know that we're doing every we can to make sure that our people are safe and get the medical care they need. However that may be, we don't know yet. I know the mayor has since sent a letter to the governor to see if he would continue funding that, but then again, that also depends if we can maintain our staffing levels in order to keep that hospital open. So that's an evolving process. It's in the early stages. We've got 3 months hopefully to sort this thing out. And we're also going to work with Catholic Health to see if in some way we can help and accelerate the build because of supply chain issues with the new hospital, which should have been opened the first quarter of this year. So, just want you to know that from both perspectives, the county and the hospitals, we have engaged and we're doing the best we can. The other thing I'd like to mention, just as the good news, is I'd like to thank this board and Wheatfield for hosting Congressman Higgins to present 75 Purple Heart, or it's not, excuse me, Vietnam veteran pins. There's 75 recipients today, right over here at the community center. It was a tremendous ceremony. The supervisor did a great job. He was unscripted, but he was able to make it all by himself. He pronounced most of the words pretty good. But it was quite a ceremony, very moving. And during that ceremony, one of the recipients we didn't realize was not only a Vietnam veteran, but a Korean veteran. He had turned 90. Just in this past week, he got a standing ovation. It was a very, very moving ceremony today. And we also recognized the Purple Heart recipients, which again, the supervisor's recipient, to let them know, obviously, our Purple Heart Monument in the county is well underway. The last thing I'd like to mention is next week on Wednesday is a day that then President Trump declared the Vietnam Veterans Welcome Home Day. On March 29, 1973, the last combat troops were pulled out of Vietnam. And I can tell you, it was not pretty when we came home. It was not at all. We got spit at, things thrown at us. It was absolutely horrible. Thankfully, over the years and the generations that has gone by, and all of our Vietnam veterans now are being recognized for the sacrifice that they have given, that their family have given. So next week, on Wednesday, the 29th, welcome home, Vietnam Veterans Day. Please, if you see a veteran, especially if he's got one of those emblems, and believe me, you'll know us, because we wear it and we're proud to wear it. All you got to say is, welcome home. Take your time to do that. Yes, thank you for your service, so on, but it's the welcome home that they all deserve. So please, take that opportunity to do so.
Hey, thank you. You know, it was, the interesting part today, was, I talked to the homeless vets a few weeks ago, the certain brotherhood of connection along with them, it's sensitive and important. It was very wonderful sense. I think it's doing a great job with our staff. Dave, thank you for helping.
You're very welcome. It was certainly my honor.
Disease and cave, I'm terrible.
That's right. Move on. Thank you.
Tom?
Yes.
Following
Dave, I would also like to thank the board for supporting the effort that came across today. And indeed, it was a really great ceremony, something I think we need to have more of, maybe not particularly that type, but our thinking caps on, we can do more. With the conversation about the parking lot, it's been going on for a little while already. I would just ask the board to consider the fact that around the memorial, we have a lot of water every year. I don't know if that's being factored into the drawings or drainage is being considered. Please don't forget about it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. All right, motion, Brad Brooks.
Okay, first motion on the sheet, was with regard to the, canvas. I think, Donna, you said that was going to be tabled for review. So, moving on, next motion from the building department and town attorney, which was the subject of our public hearing. Resolution of the Wheatfield Town Board to amend the code of the town of Wheatfield, approving the adoption of local law 1-23, amending the town's, amending section of the chapter, Tim just reminded me I gotta do the secret first anyway, so, yeah, I've got it here. All right, so first, with regard to that, Tim has suggested we do a seeker. So this is, seeker with regard to that. So, motion, that in accordance with the seeker requirements, the town board has completed parts 1, 2, and 3 of the short EAF and has determined that the proposed code amendments to chapter 69, building construction and fire prevention, will not have a significant adverse impact on the environment, and therefore issue a negative declaration. The town board authorizes the supervisor to sign the EAF, which will act as a negative declaration.
A motion, please.
So moved.
Second. And a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, then back to what I had read before. Resolution of the Weaver Town Board to amend the code of the town of Weaver, approving adoption of local law 123, amending sections of chapter 69 of the town code entitled amendments to chapter 69, building construction and fire prevention, and that's as follows as presented in the motion package.
So moved. Second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion from the Firearms Permit Review Board, resolved to approve the firearms discharge permits and or renewals for the individuals as shown on the attached list. So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion from our Highway Department to approve and authorize the town supervisor, highway superintendent, and councilman to sign the 2023 Highway Law Section 284 agreement for expenditure of highway monies within the town of Weeville as presented at the March 20th, 2023 town board meeting. Said agreement is subject to alteration and can be increased in two.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And then we have the, other motion, from Tim to authorize Wendell to bid the Weeville Town Hall parking lot improvement project when plans are ready.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, and then we had one, final motion that was suggested by the town board regarding the recreation department, and that is, with regard to what Mike had said about sign-up for summer camp. The town board resolves, that preference, to summer camp spots goes to town residents, or families of town residents for the first 48 hours of the registration period.
Make any comments on that?
I didn't make that request.
Sorry?
I didn't make the request.
I already brought that up. Is there a problem with that? I mean, I don't know anyone as far as what's
I mean, I don't run programs and segregate who can sign up and who doesn't.
concern was that we were trying to get residents the opportunity. I guess supposedly the sign up is not almost 24 hours.
Yeah, that's fair.
The percentage wise, how many percentage of residents versus non-residents?
I can give you those numbers, I don't know them off the top of my head. I mean, this would be our 10th summer camp, and I've never had complaints regarding who signs up and who doesn't.
So, right, your concern was that we feel residents were doing that.
We just wanted to make sure that Wheatfield residents had a chance, when people called me about getting up at 6 in the morning, they can't get in 4 hours, they wanted to make sure that, a non-resident wasn't potentially gonna take their spot in the summer camp. And I sent the sign with them that,
There's disappointment every year.
Yeah.
There is, I mean, it's based on building size. It's based on building size. Like, I would take 100 and just hire more staff if I could. but Niagara County says you can have 60, based on number of rooms, spacing, and so there's always disappointment. We used to do that, and it caused more problems, because it became cutthroat, we'd have lines, now we just first come, first serve. I mean, how many requests, and you say some people, is it one family, is it 20 families? Like I said, there's gonna be disappointment because of size. Like, I would hate to change the way we kind of shaped our process.
The only thing is, what we talked earlier tonight, that, we wanna take care of our weekly residents, obviously. And I would just hate to see a greater percentage of non-residents be taking advantage of the system. I think that's what we're going for.
I think we'd rather have a non-resident be disappointed than a resident be disappointed. So is there a problem waiting 48 hours for non-residents to apply?
Well, I think it's fine, it's sold out in 15 minutes.
What's that?
It's sold out in 15 minutes, so 24 hours is when it's going to do anything for people. I mean, right, Mike, is that bad?
It will fill up fast. But unfortunately, I can't govern, addresses on the website. Every time website, where you sign up and you can type in any address you want. There's no way for me to decipher
You don't
who's
make money on the internet
No.
So people are just getting a number in a queue, and then later.
I contact them.
You're gonna contact them.
I contact them.
They're gonna pay for whatever number of days or how many weeks they're buying.
It's, $20. They put a deposit down within the first 2 weeks, otherwise you lose your spot and the next person in line gets it. You have to reserve each week.
So I guess what I'm asking, so what Larry's request is, what Larry's interested in is really not possible?
I'm not saying it's impossible, I just don't really think it's that necessary. But if you only want Wheatfield residents in the program, then you're the ones that make that
We
decision.
didn't say only, we said first chance.
I mean, there's limited spots in everything.
How many
To an
people-
extent.
So you have room for what, 50 or 60, 50?
We accept the first 50 and then the next 10 are almost a lot.
So like last year, how many people signed up the first day?
It was full.
It was full, but how many people couldn't get in?
I had to physically go on the website and take the link down because we had too many on the waiting.
How many people did you have on the waiting list?
There was like at least 30. In the last 10
So
didn't
you
have a chance.
probably fill it with just non-residents.
It's possible.
What do you guys want to do? You want to close it or make it town residents? I don't care.
I mean, we are the town we feel. I mean,
I feel like we're creating a problem that doesn't exist. I've run it for 10 years, and how many times have they come across your desk that my program is.
To be honest with you, Mike, I never heard of it. I haven't personally.
I'll comply to whatever you think, I'm not sure, this is the
What do you
area.
guys want to do? Do you want to try and see if we do Wheatfield residents?
It will, Grant, you're right, it will fill up with Wheatfield residents, I mean. But you have to understand, there are gonna be families that have come to our program for 10 straight years, and now this is the 11th year, just an example.
but I don't represent those families
Okay.
out of the town of
Okay.
Wheatfield. I represent the people from the town of Wheatfield. So does Larry, so does Bert, so does Don, so does Gil.
All right, why don't we do
That's
this?
our interest.
Let's try it. Let's see if we do our registration. How we feel residents only.
Well, that's why I said, what you said, 48 hours, and after 48 hours, if you don't have 60 open, I don't think it's that difficult.
No, I don't either. Let's give it a shot. Is that okay?
Let's do it.
Okay. Who wants to make the motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And, for, the town attorney, we have no further motions.
Larry Hellwood.
Just one item, Wednesday, the New York State DOT is having the Greenway Trail meeting at our community center starting at 4 o'clock. I think it's gonna be pictures, questions, and answers for like the first hour up to about comments during that, last hour and a half time period. Just gotta say, this process started in 2006. A lot of people that were involved with this 17 years ago, Art Palmer, Harvey Mack on River Road, he's passed away. But this process 17 years ago started because the DOT, the Greenway, put a trail along the river, the shoreline. And these people thought they were gonna have people walking in the front yard along the river. And, the town actually, sponsored this trail for quite a few years. We got $1.3 million in grants. We found out it was gonna be like a $3 or $4 million project. And most of the grant money we were getting was like 75, 20, 80. There was co-pay. You had to pay a percentage. The grants that you get cover 80% of the project or 75% of the project. The town had to come up with a match. The match on that volume of money was gonna be like $1 million. So we surely found out that the town wasn't gonna be able to fund this ourselves. So the Greenway took over. They got Ralph Wilson Foundation money, our $1.3 million. The New York State DOT is essentially funding this project. It's their project, it's on their right of way, but our recreation department and possibly highway, we don't know for sure yet. I don't know if they mentioned anything to Don, what our responsibilities might be other than maybe cutting grass or emptying trash cans. Do we know anything else, Don?
It's never been made specific, and I think if you take a look at the trail city, North Tonawanda, they have a responsibility for maintaining the trail as it's approved. And this is the last connection between Buffalo and the other side of this week.
Right.
And, if it's necessary that our parks, our highway department have to, cut grass or do whatever, it's something we'll have to consider doing to the additional employment. This is a trail that literally runs through New York State. That's something we'll have to consider. Part of the responsibility, once it's completed, if it's ever completed, is to do maintenance, grass.
And if you're gonna realign River Road a little bit more, like you've already seen it up in North Tonawanda going into Tonawanda where they took 4 lanes and we should really go 3 lanes. I think coming out of Wheatfield on River Road, right now where you come out of 2 lanes and out of Wheatfield on River Road, it goes to 4. They're gonna go that down to 3. So hopefully that speedway that's coming in from Whitmer Road, where you hit like Mike Anzac, where the welcome to Wheatfield sign is, you got 4 lanes squeezing down the 2 in a hurry, and it's a raceway there. I think they're gonna cut that off at Whitmer Road so that you only have 1 lane, so that speedway is gonna end in North Tonawanda, it's not gonna end in Wheatfield.
Paul, maybe you and Mike, if you get a chance to take a look at the trail, and I want to remind you a good portion of it is on state right now.
Yeah.
So why don't the state maintain it then?
Well, they will, on their right. There's a portion that runs from about Liberty Drive, to Williams Road that follows the old railroad tracks, which will be ours on state. Anything else?
That's all I have. They sent letters out to all the people on the north side of River Road that have bought the railroad, because there's gonna be some property acquisitions. They're gonna be having easements, and they're gonna be actually having to buy property off some residents. The Conrail won't let them put the trail on Conrail property.
It's gonna be lighted and everything?
Is what?
Is this pathway gonna be lighted and everything?
No, it's gonna be,
Back in there, it's not gonna be lighted, it's gonna be walking.
right,
I wouldn't walk on it, I'll tell you that.
it's gonna be like,
If you look at any of the trails in New York State, I've walked on many of them, none of them. And, I've walked from, Belfast, New York, down to school, never had a problem. Not many, many times. Beautiful walk.
that's all I have.
Bill Zap.
I don't have any.
Thank you, Bill. It's your doctor.
Nothing tonight?
Randy Russell.
Mark, as long as you're here, I mentioned before to these guys that I got approached last week, and I know the fire companies have been around long before a lot of the houses here have been around. But I got approached by a guy that said, why do they have to blow the siren? And I know Burkles came to us years ago when I was on this board. Why do they have to blow the siren at 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning? He said, today's technology, everybody has a cell phone, a pager, and I get that's tradition. I know that's how it is. Is there anything that could ever be done with sirens going off after, say, 10 p.m. till 6, 7 in the morning?
A lot of them have modified, believe it or not, it's actually in part of the ISO that does the insurance rating and the secondary means of notification. Because, and more, you know, they're getting different notifications, but because of internet, that's not 100% reliable. So, some have modified their time, some have put timers on if they've chosen, as a case-by-case basis, but that availability, the bottom line is an ISO point getter.
Okay, thank you.
I know Johnsburg, ours cuts off at, I believe, 10 o'clock, it doesn't come back on until 7 in the morning. So ours doesn't go at night unless we have a timer malfunction, which I'm not saying it doesn't happen. But, you know, we have an analog timer that's separate from dispatch and everything, that literally cuts the siren out of circuit. So, we do try not to.
If it could be done, I don't know,
What are they talking about? Not point fingers.
I was trying to enjoy a beverage of my choice, and the guy jumped all over me. Burgles.
There's only one company that still does it.
Whatever.
Tell them about a decibel reader, didn't they for that?
I think Burgles is the same thing as ours. I think after a certain time it shuts off.
Yeah, I never heard.
Yeah.
Didn't they modify, when the big hubbub a few years ago?
Probably the same
they
person that
kinda
he was listening to
negotiated?
was, yeah, they modified it back then, I think.
I couldn't say
I'll
right
ask
or
you
wrong,
one.
I'm just telling you what the guy told me.
I'll get an answer for that.
All right, look, I'd like to make a motion to, Mike, maybe before I make the motion, just offhand, Burkholz is asking for 2 more Knox boxes. So they've asked for 7, they got 5. And we're gonna have to do, we can't take this out of ARPA funds, but it's already been paid, so this would be an additional cost. Do you remember offhand what they were?
Yeah.
Let me just find.
Well, over 1,400 each
1,400?
per box.
Per box, okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to
So
remember the
we
count.
I don't think we even have to do exceed the amount. I'd like to make a motion to, purchase 2 Knox boxes for the Burkholz Fire Company in addition to, the 5 that are received.
I'll second.
And all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Mike, would you see me tomorrow and maybe make a contact, to get those other, Knox boxes? And we're gonna have to pay them from a different account.
Okay.
The rest was done on our phone, we can't do that. Okay? What do you think? If not tomorrow, the next day, but, we'll take care of it. And the other thing I had, and I mentioned to Tom Ward tonight, the Army Corps is going along Sawyer Creek, and Mike, I don't know if you're aware of this yet, I'm supposed to be getting maps, I haven't seen them yet, but I've heard that they're going to do a analysis of floodplains from Ward Road to the Niagara Falls line along Sawyer Creek and, Burkholz Creek. And when I had talked with them, they said, well, it doesn't mean that it will affect flood rates. You know as well as I do, typically, when they do a reanalysis of floodplains, it's not a good sign. So, who's doing that now? Well, they were supposed to send me maps, I haven't received them yet, but my understanding is, just talking over the phone, is from Ward Road along Sawyer Creek and Burkholz Creek to the city of Niagara Falls line.
The Army Corps.
Army Corps.
Would that be just wetlands though?
I'm sorry?
What if it's the Corps? I wonder if they're.
Well, DOT, or I'm sorry, DEC is working with them.
With them?
Army Corps is actually going to be doing a survey.
All right.
And they're doing some notification of properties they may have to go onto, but they're going to start doing surveying along the boulevard next week.
Raise it or lower, you don't know. Was that to raise it or lower it? Or you have no idea?
No, I have no idea, but I do know that in the last few storms that we had, there was some severe flooding, you know, where the religious facility on Boulevard.
Yeah.
Their floors were underwater, so, you mentioned some sensitive areas, so I imagine that's water. We'll see, I mean, I've seen it before when they go and reevaluate and the stim levels, it can be a problem.
Please keep us updated.
Yeah, the only thing I can tell you, I spoke with, this gentleman, I've got his name in here, and he's supposed to forward the maps and identify the area, but I haven't seen them. And supposed to have that Monday. Last month. Anyway, I just want people to be aware, they're hearing from the Army Corps, or they see them out on the road, doing some raid, and again, I mentioned the Vietnam Veterans Day today, and I mentioned our war memorial. In fact, there was a couple, husband and wife, I had mentioned our Wheatfield Memorial, and they actually overlooked at the site and came back to say how wonderful they found our memorial. So I had like a special time to tell Tom that because he's done so much work. But many people didn't know it existed. And truly, and hopefully this year it's going to look pretty good like every year. So got a lot going on. Other than that, thank you. Public input. Anything else? All right, next meeting is April 3rd, 2023 at 7 o'clock. And if I could have the motion to adjourn.
One second.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you for coming, folks.